Welcome to this free training, this webinar, 7 Steps to Sustainable Athletic Success in 90 Days or Less. I am your host for today, Coach Ryan Wade. And while we were waiting, while we were waiting for a few stragglers to come aboard with us, I wanted to remind you, please use the restroom, please get a pen and paper available to you, and be ready to take notes, detailed notes on how you can take these 7 steps and action them with your young athlete. ACT, action changes things. And so if your athlete is stuck in, maybe they're having some negative thoughts about their performance or about their body or about themselves, or if they are lacking the knowledge of how to eat properly, or if they are just simply wanting to get to the next level and take their playing career as far as they possibly can, that is probably why you are here today. And so while we're waiting, be ready to write down those action steps. This is very important for you parents to be able to do with your child, and if they are not prepared to take action, they will not make it any further than their natural limitations will allow them. And so today is all about overcoming those speed bumps in the road and overcoming those things we perceive as being limits. And so as you see at the top, the slogan of Wade Train I picked a long time ago is "Become Limitless," and this is definitely a good first step to get your athlete to become limitless and take their playing career as far as possible. So we're going to wait a few more seconds, maybe about a minute, for those stragglers who are waiting behind, and we will get started here shortly. So please be sure you are ready to do all those things we just spoke of. All right, we're going to get going, and so we have, first thing we're going to talk about is I just wanted to welcome you. You are now a part of the Wade Train family, and this is something we take, or I take very seriously. The people who I allow to come into my Wade Train family are people who have decided that they are ready to make themselves better in one way or another, may it be through athletics, through fitness, or anything like that, through just general wanting to improve themselves. And this is something that's very commendable. So welcome to the Wade Train family. As you can see, we've got a few members here of different age groups and boys and girls of all ages. We've got professional MMA fighters. We have high school football players. Whoops. Sorry about that. We have youth athletes and we have some high school athletes. And so just because you are a parent does not mean you are not part of the Wade Train family. I hope to provide you as much value as possible as well for yourself and not just your young athlete. So if you do have any other questions after this presentation about your health and your fitness and your life, I would be more than happy to help you out with that. So where is Wade Train located? Our new facility, which is just about to open as we speak, is located in Coraopolis, PA, about 15 minutes west of the city of Pittsburgh. And so, as you can see, we are right off the exit to I-376 west, heading toward the airport in Moon Township. And so go ahead and fill out those details that I have there on the left, and I'd like to get to know you guys a bit better. Great, looks like we have quite a few of you from around the area, and even some on the other side of the city, and a few outside of PA. That's awesome. So again, before we start, I just wanted to go through a bit of housekeeping. I wanted to ask you to, guys, I really need your full attention with this. I take training the athletes that I train very seriously, and I am here to make their athletic goals become realities. And so we need to please turn off any distractions such as your cell phone or Facebook Messenger. Just turn those off. We won't be more than 60 minutes, and so I ask you to please turn those off. Also, close all your web windows. Like I said before, have a paper and pen ready to take close notes. You're going to get some awesome actionable tips and steps to help your young athlete, and so have that ready. You might want to grab a glass of water because, again, I don't want you to have to get up and get taken away from the training. Also, before we start, make sure you have an action step list ready for you. What we want to do with that, again, is be sure that we take all these tips and we action them. ACT, action changes things, and if you don't take action, you will never go further than your natural limitations. And so we want to be able to change where we are, change where your young athletes are, and we want to be able to progress them and give them all the success in the world, and that's why we're here. So please do that, as well as if you haven't used the restroom, now would be the perfect time to do that. And we will get started in 30 seconds for all of you who are finishing up tip number, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, tip number 6. That's a nice little image I found from the internet there. Looks like he looks very pretty, and he goes to the gym probably. So we're going to move on. First of all, I wanted to see, you're probably asking yourself, is this webinar truly for me, and who really should be here? And so if your young athlete isn't performing to the level you believe they can, or they believe they can, or their coach believes that they can, you should definitely be here right now, because that means that they show potential. And as I tell all my clients, is that potential only means that you haven't done it yet. All right, potential I wouldn't consider to be necessarily a great thing. Is it a good thing? Sure. Is it something that's going to take us any further? Potential may be able to carry you a very limited way, but it just means that you have not achieved anything yet. You haven't been there yet, and so the key is being able to get there. If you're here, your athlete may need to become bigger, faster, and stronger. That is the core foundation of strength conditioning, of course. Maybe they need to put on the weight to be able to perform well at their select position. Maybe they need to add the speed and the strength to be able to prevent injuries in a contact sport, or maybe even just the speed to perform with the next level of competition. That is a good reason to be here as well. Maybe as a parent, you're growing weary of seeing your child disappointed. I know those car rides all too well from whenever I was younger, from whenever my brother was younger. Having a bad game affects a young athlete much more than it affects an older athlete sometimes. It may affect them much longer, and so maybe that disappointment, you just can't take the look of that on their face anymore, and you can't stand to hear them disappointed or crying or upset with themselves about their performance. Young athletes have a deep passion, have a childlike passion, and that means that it's very rich and very pure. And so just as their success may be rich and pure and full of joy, their shortcomings and their challenges are going to be just as pure to them and hit them just as hard. Maybe your athlete needs a better knowledge of their nutrition and their lifestyle choices to be able to just take their performance that much further. Nutrition can increase performance up to 80%. I'm sure you'll hear me say that again over the course of this training. And so maybe they need that that to know how to balance their meals correctly, or maybe you as the parent need to know how you can help them with the food that you're making them. A lot of times I give nutritional information and coaching to young athletes, but really it's the parent that needs the coaching. They're the one providing the food. You are the one providing the meal on the table for the child. So if they are not growing, you may need to look at what you are providing them. If they're not getting bigger and stronger and leaner, you need to look at the options that you're giving them and what's in the fridge. And so they may lack confidence and self-esteem. This goes along with the ride home and the disappointment. And maybe you're here because your athlete has a great desire to continue their path to success, to continue what they're doing, and to get to either a collegiate scholarship or to professional level, or maybe even just taking the next step to getting to the next level of competition, the next team up, the next age group up, and they want to be able to increase their performance to keep up with that competition, and not only that, but dominate that competition, to thrive in that level of competition, and to really start to show the coaches that they can keep their eyes on them as a hot prospect to watch. And so if you're here for any of these reasons, you are here for good reason. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, you all will be receiving a free gift. And so I like to call this, as you can tell, the theme of this webinar, Take Action. Get your athletes' success kickstarted now with this 3-part series. And it's 3 very informational videos on those 3 aspects that I am talking about. You know, what is appropriate at which age range. We're going to talk about that slightly in this webinar, but we're just going to dig in a whole lot deeper with all of these topics. So we talk about long-term athletic development, we talk about macronutrient breakdowns, and we talk about eliminating negative beliefs, eliminating limiting beliefs, and creating more empowering positive beliefs. And so we're going to dig really deep in this video series. So if you have signed up for this webinar, you can be sure to check out your email at the conclusion, and you will have this video series sitting in there. So, and it will answer the questions of how young is too young, what is the right way for them to be training at their current age, what they need to know to eat and grow strong, and how they can overcome their lack of confidence that they may have. It's going to be a very valuable resource for you moving forward. And if you are seeing this webinar on replay, I know we'll be using this on replay after this initial training, be sure to shoot me an email, Ryan, R-Y-A-N, at wadetrained, wadetrained.com, and I will send you that free video series as well. So, moving forward, you know, I just wanted to show you what some of our athletes have to say about their experience, and so I've taken some of our very top-level guys and just showing you kind of my breadth. I consider myself to be a youth athletic specialist. However, I have worked with the higher levels. The first and last testimonial here, you can say, are professional mixed martial artists. There's a Division I hockey player on there and a professional ultimate player, kind of more off the beaten path of the professional sports, but a professional nonetheless. So just taking a minute to check those out. I am quite proud of all these guys, and proud of what they think of my service to them. And so I'd be sure to give young athletes the same amount of service, and even more, because it is even more necessary at the younger ages to give them a higher level of knowledge, a higher level of service, and being able to break it down into small, simple chunks for them is the key to getting the best results with young athletes. And so I take the similar types of trainings that I would use with older guys, and I just break it down into very simple little pieces and get great results with my younger guys. I also want to start with a little introduction to myself, and so we'll just start at the top left and move around. In top left, I'm there with my young nephew Oliver at a Pirates game. Go Bucks! I am a huge Pittsburgh sports fan. Have been born and bred in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Still here to this day. I love this city, and it was a huge part of me starting doing what I do in my involvement with athletics. Moving down is a very funny picture of myself, my beautiful fiance Grace, and our two dogs, Nala, who has the look of death in her eyes as she's sledding down that hill, and a little Sweetie, who is seems very relaxed in that picture. But that is one of our engagement pictures, and I love that picture because of my dog Nala, her face. Wrestling was and still is a huge motivator, a huge aspect of my life. I spent a good portion of my late teens and early 20s as a wrestling coach at the high school and collegiate levels. And there you just see me having some fun with one of my athletes prior to a match, and me probably saying a few clean but choice words to a referee while I was coaching at the high school level. Going down is myself with one of my friends and colleagues, Mike Smith, just hanging out at our gym that we were in prior to opening Weight Train in Coriopolis. And moving up, we have another picture of Nala and another picture of me and my fiancee Grace at Ohio University, which is my alma mater. And just wanted to show you guys a bit into my life and kind of what makes me kind of who I am. And as we move forward, guys, please don't forget to send me a friend request. Friend me up on Facebook. Look for Wade Trained on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, and definitely check me out on Periscope. I am loving this platform. It's a live streaming platform if you have not heard of it, and I will be doing lots of live streaming trainings moving forward with Periscope, so definitely friend me up. Hit some of those links. I believe you'll be able to backtrack through this and hit these links as we go back. So, yeah, guys, please friend me up. I'd be glad. Whoops, I did it again, didn't I? I'd be glad to help you moving forward. Anyway, so couple of questions I wanted to ask. What is your athlete's biggest struggle? You know, what do they need to work on most? What do the coaches think? What do you think? What do they think? Get lots of different angles, and we will probably find that the most commonly repeated one is really where it's coming from. It's never one thing where somebody is challenged. It's always it's rooted in deeper kind of challenges, and so we're going to look at the entire picture of what they're struggling with and how we can fix where it is that they are struggling. Excuse me while I take a drink. Does their gameplay affect their lifestyle, their social aspect of with their friends, their grades in school? Sports are supposed to help a child understand that learning is a huge importance in their life, is a huge game changer, and it's supposed to transfer from the gym, from the field, into the classroom. And so something that I think sports nowadays are getting away from is teaching the kids these transferable skills back to the classroom. And so I definitely am sure to not afraid to take a couple minutes out to teach a lesson about how to bring it back to a learning and a growth mindset. What is it that you fear most for your child and their sport moving forward? You know, injuries are a huge factor for a lot of sports moving forward, and with all the new sciences coming out in terms of concussions and ACL preventions and tears and all those types of things, what is it that you fear? My goal as a coach is to put your mind at rest, to teach you, to educate you on what is the correct way to do injury prevention, what is the correct way for your child to take care of themselves. So we'll be, you know, what is it that you do fear most, and how does all this make you feel? How does it make them feel? How long have these feelings been going on? And you really need to think about, why is it important for them to make the change right now. Again, this is all about taking action. ACT, action changes things, and so if they are stuck in a rut or in a plateau or something along those lines, it is time to take action right now and make the change. Moving on to some progress from some of my athletes who have had awesome success. This is, first picture is Shane, and Shane has now spent 2 full summers with me, and I'll just, I'm not going to talk about his stats too much specifically, but as you can see, he's adding muscle, losing body fat, gaining strength, and at the same time getting faster. And in the middle you'll see it says that we do not test 1RM, and why is that? And so if you could walk into a training facility and you see somebody testing 1RM or 1 repetition maximum, generally it takes approximately 2 weeks at least for a young athlete to fully recover from a 1 repetition maximum test. And so there's really no reason to put that type of stress on themselves, on their muscles, on their joints, and on their nervous system. If they, if my purpose as a coach is to get them to get better every single day and to take small steps forward every single day, then taking that giant leap one day and knocking them back 4 steps is totally against becoming limitless. They will completely have many limitations put on them after that if they were to go full out and really give all the effort into all the weight, and definitely not at the age that Shane is in that picture. And the reason why I keep it a posterior shot is because Shane in that picture is a freak, jacked up 13-year-old, and so just kind of a good picture of the results that we get in our summer training program. Moving on, Shane's training partner and also 2-year vet of Wade Trained is Lou, and Louie has made very similar progress. And they have 2 different body types, as you saw. Moving back here, Shane is more of the lean and mean type, while Lou, if I had a more current picture up, is a wider base athlete. Lou is a upper weight wrestler. He is a lineman, and this is from his going into freshman year, but now he is transferring over to the line, which I've been telling him he was going to for about 2 years now. Could just see it in his build as he came on. He said he wanted to be a running back and a linebacker, and I said, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I will do anything to get you where you want to be, and let's let nature take its course. And so what we did was just get him as big, as fast, as lean, as mean as possible. Got him on the right diet, got him on the right training program, got his head on straight, and again, up weight, down body fat, up strength numbers, and 40-yard dash times go down. So these are all things that we want to see in our training. But it's not just football that I work with all kinds of different athletes, and so as you can see here, I've worked with, and these were both, this was one very special course of 12 months that I had. I had a good percentage of the athletes I was working with at the time, as I started out with maybe, 6 to 8 athletes. 3 from the Bishop Canevin Girls WPIAL Championship team in 2013, and 3 from the Baldwin Whitehall Ice Hockey WPIAL Champions, or PIHL champions. I guess that's a bit of a typo. Hockey does things a little bit differently. But champions in 2014, regardless, they blew everyone out of the water. It was a great year, and as you can see, we've got pictures of the girls training here in my former facility, and same thing with Brian and Kenny here, and here they are. So we've got Bailey right there, we've got Annalise right there, and we've got Aaron right there, as we've got Kenny is not in that picture, but whoop, I did it again, didn't I? Sorry about that, guys. But we have Kenny not pictured, and then Brian is hanging out back here. He was one of the assistant captains and I believe MVP of that game. So, but again, it's not just all types of athletes in performance training and fitness that I do. I work with higher level guys, as I spoke of in the testimonials, and this is Tyson. And Tyson, in 2014, had double hip labrum surgery as he was preparing for the 2014 season. And so what this picture is in the middle is a contraption. He didn't have leg surgery. That isn't a leg cast. That is to keep him from moving his legs because the surgery was at his hip. And so he had that actually on both legs at the time. So he was bedridden for about 2 months and then came to me to start his rehab and recovery. And here's Tyson on the right getting down in position. That is the same year after his rehab and recovery. So a little bit more about Tyson. Like I said, Tyson came to me after double hip labrum surgery, and within less than 6 months we had him back on the ice and playing for his team. I have a few restrictions of what I can say about Tyson because he is an NCAA athlete. Can't use his last name, can't use his team name, but you can take the picture for what it's worth. Tyson, that same year in 2014, led his team in defensive minutes played. He was the top defenseman for his team and was the 2014 voted by his team and the coaches Defenseman of the Year, and was also named assistant captain. After his surgery, Tyson continued his training with us and had an outstanding year. And we were all very proud of the results that Tyson got for himself, but it didn't come just from us, of course, as everyone does. Tyson put in the work, committed his mind to the grind lifestyle and growing every single day and finding the good in every challenge and a learning experience in all the challenges that he faced. And again, just very proud of that guy right there. So moving forward with this training, what is the real problem facing majority of youth athletes? And so the real problem that I find is that there's a huge lack of education for young athletes, real needs for long-term success, all right? And so because of all the abundance in youth athletics and all the money, there's some confusion between facts and the ignorance towards the problem. So a ton of parents involved in some of these big travel organizations, I'm not going to say by name, but they look for immediate satisfaction. They're looking for increased practice time, more skill sessions, more on-field training, more specialty, more competition, more time. And really, that immediate satisfaction, they're looking for immediate success, immediate results right then and there for their child on that same field or court or ice or whatever. And I see too many limiting beliefs from these children, and they believe that they should be progressing at a much faster rate than they are, and it starts to get down on themselves. There's a lot of fear from the athletes and the parents of what happens if little Kimmy or Jimmy falls behind. All right, and of course, both these lead to a huge lack of confidence. And so this lack of confidence then leads to a lack of willingness to take action and an abundance of excuses. So here I've mapped out a little bit of a chart for you. As you can see, we have a high level of determination, and that you could even consider this for athletes and for parents. A high level of determination, a higher level of determination than there is, or a higher level of competition than there is determination. A very low level of physical and mental development, and this isn't including the skill sessions. You know, skills for a sport, yes, they can always be improved, but they are repeated motions. They do not balance a young athlete. They make their body accustomed to a similar movement set and repeating those movements time after time. And so there's a lack of true balance of physical and mental development as well. And this really just leads to, as you can see, a low level of progress, some slow progress throughout the years, but at a very high rate of frustration and plateau and even dwindling determination. So what I would consider to be the answer of this determination versus progress problem is taking the competition and putting less emphasis on having more games and more time doing skills. You can develop those areas in young athletes in many different ways. And so something that we've gotten away from is the ability that sports should actually be fun, and that sports should be a place where kids go to learn lessons about life and be with their friends and enjoy the sport. It shouldn't be the equivalent of the World Series of Poker every time little Timmy has a game. All right. So a lack of emphasis on the volume of competition, a lack of emphasis on the, let's call it severity of competition, and really that thereof, the association that goes with that competition. All right. And so whenever we take that competition down and we increase the amount of physical and mental development, overall being balanced, working on things like balancing out strength and movement patterns, working in all different levels and bases, and really becoming a well-rounded, balanced, strong, fast athlete who knows how to move in every situation. This makes the athlete overall more athletic. And who knows when that child is 10, 11, 12, even 13 and 14 years old, if they're going to continue with that sport. Yes, the hope is that they have picked the right one and that they're going to continue that. But if they have made themselves into a better athlete overall through physical and mental balance development, and they have the knowledge, they're around the environment, they have the accountability, and they have the positive influence to increase those things, then their progress skyrockets. All right, so we've kept the determination at the same rate, assuming that the child has great determination. The competition goes down, but the development goes up. They're training, they're becoming strong, they're working as a balanced athlete through things like basic gymnastics and running, jumping, throwing, this idea of functional fitness, which I could go in through a whole nother different series of topics about. But yes, functional fitness, being functional towards a specific sport or being functional towards being an athlete, all right, that true functional fitness and performance, increasing those factors is going to skyrocket the progress, all right? So little less focus on competition and the intensity of the competition and the volume of the competition. A little higher focus on the development, the fun, the lessons learned, and becoming an athlete and not, say, a baseball player or a volleyball player. All right, these young athletes need to be well-rounded. So why should you listen to me? And quite honestly, I'm just going to be straightforward about it, and that is the results that you've seen. Things like Tyson's recovery and on ice in less than 6 months. What people have said about the weight-trained system, giving them their life back, giving them their ability to perform back, doing things like gaining 12 pounds of muscle and 20 pounds of muscle in 12 weeks, taking a fifth of a second off the 40-yard dash, or a half a second off the 40-yard dash. Wow, I'm really struggling with my words here. But, things like having no coincidence that Wade Train had a serious factor in 2 champions in 1 year in the Pittsburgh area. The higher strength numbers in 12 weeks, multiple MVPs, all-stars, prospects, and professionals. These are results. These are things that really happen. These are things that can happen for your athlete through this limitless system of training if they do, like I said, take the action. So it is, if you do take the action, again, it is up to you. If you have the knowledge, the determination, you take the action, you'll get results. And there's always obstacles There's always doubters. There's always mistakes being made. But it's always worth the result. All right? With the hard work, there are no limits. You can become limitless. If you learn how to take the obstacles, the doubters, the mistakes, learn what's good from those situations, learn the lessons that there are to be learned within them, and create a more empowering life, a more empowering result for yourself. If you move forward and you learn and make progress every single day, there's no limits for you. And we're going to do this, there's not going to be any limits if we follow the 3 pillars of success. And the Wade Trained 3 pillars are the physical, the mindset, and the nutritional factors, all right? And of course, with the coaching, accountability, and support that come with training in the physical, the mindset, and the nutrition. You can give your child those 3 things, the coaching, the accountability, and the support with the lessons that you are about to learn in the next 7 steps coming up right now. So first, remember that it is about progress, not about perfect. It's about doing the right thing rather than doing more. Going back to that graph that we were looking at, it's about less competition, less intensity, and really focusing on making progress every single day. What are your athletes' long-term goals? Is their goal to take the next step up in competition? Is their long-term goal to earn a scholarship from the school that they dream about going to? Is it to make it to the level of their favorite player? These are dreams that young athletes have, and with some actionable steps, they can take they can 10x their progress rather than take it one step at a time. And really, we need to use the amateur years of under 12 to 18 years old to develop greater physical capacity. Physical and mental capacity, all right? And capabilities. Things like physical strength, power, speed, agility, efficient movement, balance, conditioning, and skill. This is what I'm talking about, balance, all right? One sport does not give an athlete a balance between all of these things. In fact, they may not even contribute towards strength. A game like baseball does not require a high level of strength. It requires a high level of power. It requires a high level of speed and agility. It does not require a high level of strength. It also doesn't require an efficient movement balance whatsoever. Baseball is a very one-sided sport, same as hockey. You're always rotating one way, as opposed to tennis where you're rotating 2 ways. All right, so that would be the difference between a one-sided sport and creating an efficient movement balance. Okay, same thing. A football player does not need to have a great aerobic capability. They need to be able to recover, which is an aerobic capability, but they do not need to go full out for 30 seconds. All right, so things like 300-meter or 300-yard gassers are something that is not doing too much for a football player. They're never going to have to run 2 minutes at a time. All right, so really look at why are they doing the things they're doing? Why are their coaches teaching them the lessons and taking them through the drills that they're going through? Everything should have a purpose. A good coach should have a purpose for everything. And so if you can just educate yourself on what the athlete needs to become well balanced in their sport as they're younger, and then slowly progress to a higher level of specificity as they become older and more towards the 18-year-old range, then they will be better for it. All right. All these factors will also contribute to a higher level of injury prevention and creating the mental training along with that. All right. So learning how to take negativity and learning how to take a poor performance and creating an empowering belief and learning from those. All right. Creating powerful habits through goal setting, through visualization, through, like I said, creating more empowering beliefs and having confidence and adaptability from all sorts of situations, not just in their sport, and being able to transfer the lessons that they learn on the field to the classroom, to any other type of activity that they go through. These types of confidence lessons shine through in the darkest types of places. So maybe they go through a bit of social anxiety or going out of their comfort zone and talking, if they're, say, a baseball player, talking to that first baseman like you see professionals doing all the time, can go a very long way in creating a better social understanding for that young athlete. Maybe it makes them more comfortable to speak to their teacher in school. And so really being able to go out of your comfort zone and use those teachable lessons, all right? Use them moving forward. The gameplay only develops a very small and very specific set of capabilities, as we talked about. An achievement at a young age does not equal achievement later when the long-term goals are supposed to come into place, all right? Being a champion when you're 9 does not make you a champion when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, and moving forward when you are training to win, which, if you look inside the video series that you get for taking part in this training, you will learn plenty about. So, what is, looking back at these, the strength, speed, power, agility, the balance between physical and mental. If we don't do that, what are the pitfalls of the high level of competition? What are the pitfalls of creating a highly developed athlete in a very small set of skills and a very small set of capabilities? All right, and this creates, and also in the early onset specialization of these athletes that we're seeing. All right, these hockey players at age 9 that are only playing hockey and playing 100 games a year. They become hyper-competitive. They seek immediate satisfaction. They have extended seasons, which is extended stress on their bodies, and they are that. They become specialized at an early age, which makes them under-adaptable. So as you can see, the pitfalls lead to the risks of overuse injuries, becoming generally unathletic if they're specializing in one sport from too young of an age. And high-level coaches, let me tell you something. High-level coaches, and I know this because of my background in collegiate wrestling, all right, and I've talked to a number of scouts and professional and high-level Division I coaches. High-level coaches aren't looking for specialized athletes. They want to see athletes who are generally athletic, who are athletes through and through. And so if your child is only specializing in one type of activity, they're not becoming more athletic, they're becoming better at that one activity. All right, this also leads to things like physical fatigue, mental fatigue from all the stress on them, not only through their sport, but through their schoolwork, through their social life, through you name it. All right, physical and mental fatigue comes from it, and it's not a good place for a young athlete to be. All right, this also creates social isolation from friends and a lack of self-efficacy or a lack of self-confidence in their abilities moving forward. And these are things that I would never want from any of my athletes, and I point out to the parents that I work with to look out for warning signs of these. All right, this is about discipline. It's not choosing what you want now. It's about choosing what you want most. Again, looking at the long-term goal, practicing that long-term goal in your mind, and having your young athlete practice their goal in their mind, and not just once in a while, every single day. If you have a goal, if you have a dream, and you are committed to getting there, if you practice that and make it a reality, there is very little way that you cannot make it happen because you have that practice every single day. You've taken that next step in your mind 1,000 times, and you know how to get the result that you want if you learn how to visualize and use your mind to your greatest advantage. Moving on, we're going to learn about eating for function and not flavor. All right, so macronutrient overview. We have our proteins, our carbs, and our fats, and we are going to look for a general 80-20 rule in young athletes. As we get older, does it become more specific and more individualized? Absolutely. But at young ages, does it need to be exactly 80-20? Does it even need to be 85-15 or 90-10? No, 80-20 is perfectly fine, all right? So quote-unquote cheat meals, and I don't specifically like that term, but the days where you don't plan and you go off and you go something for enjoyment, that helps performance as well. Not restricting your body helps performance as well, helps your level of homeostasis and your level of balance in your body and your mind. All right, so moving on, what are proteins? Proteins are the building blocks of our body. They're our secondary energy source, and if you have excess protein, it converts into fat. And so protein, yes, is going to help fuel your body and build the muscle back after a hard training session, after a game. Protein is very, very important. And so, whenever we're looking at our proteins, we want to look at things like lean meats and fish and beans and nuts. And the picture shows peanuts. I don't think that is the greatest choice for the picture. I'd prefer almonds, cashews, and walnuts, pecans even. Very good options, all right? But make sure they're lean. Keep them as close to the source as possible. So an example that I use is between a deli ham and a steak, all right? The steak, first there was a cow, then the cow was dead, then they cut the cow, and then there was a steak, all right? Whether you agree with that process or not, that's the fact. That's how a steak becomes a steak, all right? When you're looking at a deli meat ham, first there was a pig, then the pig was dead, then the pig was cut, then the pig was chopped up into little sections and added sugar and salt and probably processed together in a way with some kinds of fats that we don't know where they came from, and it was formed into a nice looking shape, and then it was put in the oven, and then it was taken out, and then it was coated with more sugars and salts and whatever nitrates they put in it, and then they took it back in the oven, they take it back out, and then they probably go through that same process 2 to 3 more times, and then you have your ham. So what's closer to the source? Your steak, all right, or your fish, or your organic free-range chicken, or things like your lentils and your beans and your eggs, all right? Moving forward, and the carbohydrates are a huge topic. The carbohydrates are our primary energy source, all right? But they do burn fast and efficiently. And so whenever you're looking at high-quality carbs, what we want to stick to are our complex carbs, and typically deeper colors equal closer to the source, all right? Like I like to say, nothing in nature is white, all right? Not much, at least. And so if you're looking for deep colored carbs, you're going to get a great quality from them, all right? They're not going to stick in your system. They're not going to clog up your GI tract, and they're not going to give you those adverse effects of feeling heavy and feeling run down after you eat things like what's on the right, the cereals, the breads, the pastas, the flours, all right? But if you have your complex carbs and you are eating things on the left, tomatoes, carrots, green beans, sweet potatoes, spinach, all right? Those are going to be our great carbs. And again, check out those videos. We're going to dive into hand measurements. And I believe they had hand measurements. And we are going to figure out that keeping our carbs as close to the source, using fruits and vegetables as our primary carb source, is going to give us great energy. It's going to be efficient. We're going to stay lean. We're not going to crave sugar, and we're not going to have that excess storage layer of fat on ourselves because our body is going to burn them efficiently, and it's not going to stay in our system. The third macro is fat, a very, very misunderstood macronutrient, fat, all right? And I like the quote in the bottom. It says, "As for butter versus margarine, I trust cows more than chemists." All right, butter is going to be a good fat for us. Just pure butter is going to be a very good fat for you because, again, it is close to the source. Margarine is far away from the source. Used with chemicals and hydrogenated oils, things that have taken the nutrients out of them to make them reproducible and thus cheaper. All right, so whenever we're looking at good fats, we want to absolutely stay away from trans fats, as you see in the middle. Partially hydrogenated oils, shortenings, margarines, deep fried, and baked goods. We want to down our saturated fats, but not completely take them away. We want our saturated fats to be from animals, and so cheese to taste might be good. Milk is a controversial topic. I'm not one to promote drinking milk. However, if you're going to, we definitely want the whole milk and not the milk that has been taking the nutrients out of it. All right, and again, we want low amounts of butter and things like beef or small amounts of natural organic bacon. All right, those have saturated fats in them, and just keeping them low. All right, as a rule of thumb, keeping those low is going to keep you on the right track to having a good amount of fat in your diet. And I don't believe I touched on what fat actually does, but it gives us our energy source long term. It is a slow burning energy source. It also has a lot of play with, let's call it, with inflammation. And so if we get our fats from omega-6s and omega-3s, we're going to promote less inflammation in our body. We're going to have a good energy source to burn all day long, and we are going to have a great amount of hormone balance. All right, fats do wonders for hormone balance, and when you have a young athlete and they are growing and they are going through puberty, which is a fun time for all, hormone balance is something you definitely want to promote. And if they're getting all their fats from the middle and the left hand column, you're not going to have that balance. However, if you are keeping most of the sources from the bottom right picture, things like good fatty fish, not farm raised, but wild caught fish, and nuts, again, oils like fish oil and extra virgin olive oils, those are going to be great fats to balance out your diet. So you want to make an investment in your health and in your child's health. It's either doctors or healthy foods, really. It's really all that it comes down to. Do you want to spend your money on medications and going to doctors the rest of your life, or would you rather spend that money right now on good, healthy food? And so think about it. What kind of ground beef did you go and you buy at the grocery last time you were there? Did you save money and get the 75-25, or the even better, the ground beef that doesn't even say the fat to the fat content? Or did you go for the 96.4, the 97.3 ground beef? Did you get the Planter's salty cashews, or did you get the raw almonds? Did you decide to pick up some good healthy salmon, or did you go for something like canned tuna in hydrogenated oil, all right, or in vegetable oil? These are all things that we need to look at. Do you want the cost of your, where's your value lie in your life? Does it lie in keeping yourself healthy? Because, if you don't, it's going to pile up in the doctor's office later. I personally would rather feed myself well and stay healthy and avoid that white coat. So much for that. Again, I said this at the beginning, nutrition can increase performance up to 80%, all right? Nutrition is going to work towards our performance, towards our recovery, and towards our body composition or our weight management. And this is what athletes are made of. If you have decreased performance, decreased recovery, and can't control your weight, chances are you don't have very good nutrition. The fourth step to creating sustainable athletic success is really being able to control the mindset that they have. And so being able to control the mindset and using it for attitude, behavior, and taking that behavior and creating empowering actions gets empowering results and empowering performance. And it all comes back to beginning mindset. It's just a cycle. It never stops. Think about any type of challenge that you've had in your life. You first have to start by changing your mindset, which changes your attitude, which changes your behavior, which thus changes your action. And again, action changes things, so then you get better results and better performance. And really, that performance and results should probably be flipped. But if you can control your emotions, you can then overcome adversity. You reduce your stress. You can increase your confidence and increase your energy, which then turns into those actions. You have enhanced energy, so you have enhanced focus. You can create empowering goals and create a system to achieve those goals and know with evidence that and reference that you can achieve those goals. And you have a high level. You can visualize, you can prepare yourself because you have the system in place to reach the goal. You understand that visualizing every day and setting up that system, it puts you at a higher level of learning, which then transfers to all other areas of your life and can teach you more of a growth mindset in other areas, not just athletics. And again, that goes to personal advancement and self-confidence. If you have all these abilities, you can become limitless, all right? And it all starts with mindset. So don't discount the fact that a strong mind has anything to do with a strong performance. They are directly related. And, that's why I focus very much on the mindset, is that right now you have something holding you back in your life, no matter if it's a relationship, if it's something at work, if it's just a fear that you have, all right? A great fear of mine is, and I'm working towards it all the time, is a fear of heights and of open heights. And so, going ziplining the first time was a nerve-wracking experience for me, but I knew that if I start to face my fears and overcome my fears, it would start to transfer to the other areas of my life. And I've had less fear in things like my social anxiety, in things like my struggle with things like depression. And if you've seen my video online talking about my struggles in the past, you can understand just how empowering I believe these things are. And I know that they'll get awesome results with your athlete and their performance on and off the field. All right, so step 5 is we're going to cultivate effective over efficient communication. And this can be used for leadership enhancement, and it can just be used to generally increase the relationship that your young athlete builds with their team, with their coaches, with you. And so this is a lesson for everyone, really. Communication breakdowns are equally responsible for failures, all right? Children and parents is a battle as old as time. But the thing is that people fail to realize a lot is that your goals are typically the same. You come from the same blood. You speak with each other all the time. You're more like each other than you think. The thing is that your rules are different, all right? You as the parent have a lot greater depth of resources and references to pull on to create your rules for yourself. Whereas your child or your young athlete has a very shallow depth of those rules. And so the key is to get the whole family on board to become a more effective communicator and talk about what you expect out of one another to achieve your shared goals rather than getting upset at what one another says. Really, the fact that you become upset with each other has nothing to do with the fact that somebody said something, and it has everything to do with that your rules are different for getting to your goal. So for an example of how your rules may be different, you both may want to have a happy household, or a peaceful household, and but maybe your references lead you to believe that a happy household is one filled with love and calmness and just peaceful, playful banter between the family, and everyone is relaxed, and it's all good in your mind. Those are your rules for having a happy house. But your child's happiness may be based around the rules that everything is loud and they are on the go constantly and everything is a mess and they can just be free, and that's how they're happy, is that they don't have any rules on them. All right, so you just have to talk about what your rules are and your expectations of each other's rules to be to have a harmonious relationship, so to speak. All right, so maybe perhaps a more empowering, more powerful example of this is I had a friend who was talking about his friend's relationship that just ended and how they got into arguments about that girl that his friend had broken up with, and how they were arguing, and how the friend who had broken up with the girl got upset because friend number one, the one that was getting in the argument with the one who was breaking up with the girl, they argued over the things that Mike, not the girl, not the friend, and this is getting a bit out of hand and a bit confusing. So, point be told, they needed to come to a conclusion on the rules. And so Mike, not the one with the girlfriend, decided that he needed to express to Phil that in order for him to be happy for his best friend, Phil needed a girlfriend that took care of him and did not yell at him and was kind to the other friends. And that was not what Phil's rules were for a good relationship for Phil. Phil's rules were that if you yell at me and if then that means you care for me. And so in my big fat Italian family, all right, so to speak, in my Italian family, if you're loud and yell and slap someone over the head, that means that you're loved, all right? And some people may be like that, but other people may have a rule that if you love me, then you will not talk to me when you're mad at, or when you love me, if you're upset, and you'll let me blow it over. All right, people have different ways of feeling things, and that's what cultivating effective over efficient communication means. All right, our support systems help guide the path to success. So creating a strong support system, creating a strong level of communication with your athlete can cultivate their leadership ability. And the more you bring to the table on your team, the better shot you will get. Again, leading to our end-term goal. We also want a balanced lifestyle. All right, so enhancing the focus of rest, recovery, rejuvenation, and regeneration, even in youth athletes. All right, remember those risk factors, the overuse injuries, the generally unathletic, physical fatigue, mental fatigue, social isolation, and self-efficacy lack. All right, remember we were talking about those. The way to eliminate those is not only the mindset and taking away the competition, but being able to communicate, being able to sleep and eat right. This trains our muscle relaxation, our mind relaxation, all right? We want to be able to use breathing drills and stretching and things like contrast showers to be able to give our body and our mind the rest that we need. All those contribute, again, to the final goal. So, balance your lifestyle. Don't be on the go all the time. Take a second to remember what is good about your life and the things that make you proud, the things that make you happy, the things that make you excited, all right? Not focusing on all the things that you didn't get done, but it's talking about the things that you did achieve, the lessons that you have learned, not the challenges all the time. We tend to not focus on celebrating small victories because if we didn't achieve the bigger goal, we feel like we have a failure, but that's really just setting yourself up in more way than one for failure, essentially. You may only have one way to make yourself happy and many ways to make yourself upset. So focus on the small victories, focus on the process and not the perfection. And of course, rule number 7 is take constant and imperfect action. Act, adjust, repeat. Again, ACT, action changes things. Progress is only dependent upon the action. all right? Not the decisions that you make. You can make a decision and not take any action and get nowhere. But if you take action, and if your athlete takes the action to train correctly, to eat correctly, to focus on their recovery, to have some fun, to communicate more effectively, and not so much focus on efficient communication and being short, then they also reduce the amount of competition, but also have, at the same time, have a healthy level and a healthy intensity associated with competition, they're going to make great progress. And so that goes all back to the graph that we showed earlier. Nothing is ever perfect the first time or the second. Keep taking action, keep refining as you go. I talked to a lot of my athletes about the first time that they got under the squat bar. Chances are it wasn't pretty, but they keep practicing time after time after time, and they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and that is a good metaphor for life, is that you keep making progress, slow progress, better, 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 and it ends up getting you to your final goal. There's nothing more important than consistency. There's no replacement for volume. You want to create an empowering, enjoyable routine with the long-term goals in mind and not such a focus on short-term, immediate satisfaction. So what's your next step to helping your athlete achieve? The difference between you and who you are or who you want to be is what you do. All right? Write it down. All right? Take those actions. Do it now. Don't wait. Take take that list of action steps that you have with your athlete and start to put them into progress right now. Right after this training, start doing it. Maybe circle one that you think is the most important, or even better, the one that scares you the most, the one that you have the most fear associated with. Overcome that fear. Set your mindset that you can do it. Learn something from that. And that is going to, again, 10x your progress and not just take the next step forward. That's how we take bigger steps. Taking action guarantees long-term results because you're not focusing on the present. All right? Taking action, imperfect action, saves you time, it saves you money, and it saves you frustration. If you're looking to take bigger jumps and you're not taking all the steps that we just talked about, you're going to have to take smaller, more expensive steps because people are going to do the work for you. But if you do the work, you take the action, in the long run, you will get the long-term results. You will save some money along the way. You will save lots of time and lots of frustration, all right? And these are just some of the results here pictured that I've gotten for my athletes with this same philosophy, all right? Stronger, getting, having great progress, making great performances, and getting title opportunities comes from learning about the progress and not perfection. So, I wanted to come back to you. We're getting towards the end of this training. So far, did you learn some new strategies? Do you want to take this to the next level and make your action guaranteed the results? Does your athlete, do you feel like they need the extra education, the extra accountability, or the extra motivation? Maybe you don't feel adequate for some reason to be able to teach them the tips and the lessons that we've learned in this video, but they're very, their dreams are important to you, and their dreams are also, of course, important to me, or else I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be giving you these free strategies and these ways to take them there. Every child's dream, every young athlete's dream, I should say, is, and just fitness in general and leading a healthy life is very, 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 very important to me, and I have a passion. It's why I do what I do every day. It's why I get up and am ecstatic to work with the people that I work with. So what if they could have a proven and done for them system to their long-term athletic success? What if you knew that what they were doing was going to be the right way every single time? You have the option to become part of the Wade Train family, all right? And we specialize, again, in young athlete development and high school and above development. But we have packages based from 2 times a week, and they don't, with this training, there's no excuse not to get the results. From 2 times a week, they can have unlimited sessions a week, and we're just opening right now our brand new performance facility, our new home, and it's going to be outfitted with everything that we need to get the results based off the system that you just learned here. But again, with much more in-depth lessons in the exact precise way to get the results that they want. All right, and we take athletes from 10 to 19 plus years old. So if they want to elevate their game, and if they want to become healthier, and if they need, to get the motivation and to get the self-efficacy and to, adjust their mindset to grow, Weight Train is the place to do it. It's the place to become limitless. We will teach those lessons. We will assure their path to success, and we will take every critical step guaranteed to get their success path moving forward. All right. We also offer body transformation training for men and women. So maybe you would like to join a package along with them. We have family packages available, and all our options offer physical training, mindset training, and nutritional training. You get access to our motivational online community on Facebook, as well as access to my exclusive meetup group for parents of athletes in Pittsburgh. You'll get 24/7 support, all right, from myself and my coaches. You'll get support anytime you have a question. All you have to do is shoot us a message. You are our top priority, all right? Our clients are our top priority. We strive to get you the results that you want. We promise you, you will get the results that you want based on our limitless system. And you will also get free access to seminars and workshops. And that has a slight association with the meetup group, but we also do have separate seminars and workshops that are Wade trained member only, and you will have free access to all those seminars and workshops if you sign up for a package for your young athlete or for your own fitness. And hey, why not combine them for a reduced price in our family packages? So maybe you want to know if you qualify for Wade Trained, and you must be 100% committed to taking action to reach your greatest goals. I don't know if I've stressed this enough, but action changes things, all right? And so we don't want somebody who is not committed to taking action. We're very, very selective in who we let into the Wade Trained family. We're very, very selective on the people that enter our facility. We don't want any negativity. We don't want anyone who believes that they cannot get the results. You have to have a belief and a conviction that you can become the best version of yourself, all right? You must be willing to give it your all right? Nobody said this doesn't come without hard work. Nobody said that this process can just happen overnight. This is a process, and again, once you focus on progress and not perfection. But if you have that conviction and you have that willingness, that commitment to make yourself better, you're willing to attack your goals and take the most important step of your life, you will not miss a goal, because we don't miss goals ever. We're going to set the goals and we're going to demolish them, guaranteed, if you are completely committed. And again, I want to stress that we are very selective with this process. So if you believe you qualify, then I have this for you. You or your athlete may be next, and so all webinar attendees will receive a free transformation session from me, whether it's an athletic transformation session or a body transformation session. Because you have watched this video, because you have attended this webinar, you can get this session completely at no risk. All right, no commitment, no risk. Free session, you come in, you get the tips, you get the actionable steps. We look at the journey that you've been on. We look at the exact steps that are going to get you the exact results that you want. All right, we're going to go through a short session that goes right outside your comfort zone. We're going to talk about your nutrition, then we're going to talk about your mindset. We're going to talk about what you can do to start getting results right that second. And we may even get a result right that second, all right? But we need to see your determination in this session in order for us to let you in to our family, to our gym family, to our weight-trained family. All right? This is an empowering session. It can change your life if you let it. But only if you let it, only if you have the determination and the commitment, will you then be accepted to go and come in and train with us. All right? So click that link that has the arrow pointing to it right there if you are interested in this transformation session. And again, you will be able to go back and click on that when we're done. Again, like I said, you will also receive the Take Action, Get Your Athlete Success Started Right Now. You will receive this for attending this webinar. As my gift to you, I say thank you for letting me influence your young athlete's life, for letting me trusting my knowledge and trusting my results in my past successes, and I hope to move forward with you if you take up that transformation session. So guys, now's the time to ask any questions that you may have, and I will answer them with my very best ability, and I look forward to serving you. So please think those up, and I will respond to them right now.